Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the third installment of Close Encounters of the Dragonkind. As many of you know, my name is Lunath, and I am a lycodraconic werewolf who is deeply connected to a divine celestial draconian being by the same name. I have been in the otherkind and Therian communities for a little over a decade now, and usually spend my time on the internet, creating otherkind resources, or just hanging out with friends. And if the other hosts and guest speakers want to introduce themselves, feel free to.
Alrighty. Hello there, I'm Nimbus, I'm 19, and my pronouns are he, him, and it's. I'm a spiritual dragonkin with a past life as a Western Mountain dragon, along with many other alter-human identities. I've been awakened for about 8 years and active in the... yes, I'm doing my math right, and active in the community for around 6, and I wasn't able to attend the last episode due to, life stuff, but I'm happy to be back, and yeah, so I'm excited to get this podcast or get this episode started.
We're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Akira, you can introduce yourself if you want to.
Oh, I actually wasn't aware I would do that, but all right, I'll give it a try without any preparation. Well, hi, welcome. My name is Akir. I am a Dragonkin, of course. I awakened back in 2005. I've spent a lot of time at my local Dutch otherkin community, and only recently rejoined the international community. And I've been enjoying that a whole lot, actually. It's been really nice to reacquaint myself with this side of me and with the community as a whole. So I'm looking forward to revel even more in the community.
Okay, today's episode focuses on basically discussing the forum experience that many older members of the community have experienced versus the modern day Discord experience many of us have come to know today. I know that most of us know that the change has certainly been felt since the closing of many older day community sites, forums, and resource pages. Some of that change has been for the better, though some of it has been for the worse, and that's what we're here to discuss. Whether some changes are for the best, whether some are for the worst, and whatnot. If you're listening to us live, feel free to drop any questions in the chat or the thread that we pinned in Draconic Discussion, and we'll do our best to answer them. On the topic of forums have the advantage of archiving all discussions, allowing for more in-depth and longer responses, the absence of really fast-paced conversations, and the ability to return to discussion at any time. Though for many social butterflies who enjoy fast-paced conversation and group chatter, Discord servers are a great way to share in fast community discussions and to just share whatever is on one's mind at any given moment. Yeah, so forums, a lot of older day community members enjoy forums because of the reasons I mentioned. Personally, I enjoy old day community forums more than I do Discord servers, even though I enjoy the Spire and the other Discord servers I run. Forums just had a certain feel to them. And I like that you can just engage in deep, well-thought discussion, and you could also take your time typing out those responses to the discussion. And I feel that's what a lot of those who like forums really miss about forums.
The thing is that even though I am not the one to write long messages, I always did like the slower pace of forums because they would offer you a better chance to think about what you want to say, even though instant messaging apps like Discord are generally better for shorter messages. So I'm kind of in the in-between of, okay, this works, but sometimes Discord is going too quick.
Yeah, that's understandable. I feel the same way, kinda. I really wish forums were more active, though I don't really know of any super active forums nowadays. Sadly, they're just a piece of internet history that's slowly dying. I wish that wasn't the case, but wah.
Yeah. If I may, I have very little experience in forums because we only used them when we were younger, and so I don't retain a lot of memory on like what forums are like, but I do remember I used the Scholastic forums to talk about my favorite books and stuff, and that was and I did like the experience. I made a lot of good friends there, and I do miss forums, but also I kind of like how I do prefer Discord, and I do like how uh, it's more like popular, but also I do very much understand missing the like slower paced things and missing like the nostalgia of forums and like not really liking the how intense Discord how fast paced discussions can be on Discord. I often have to like go inactive on servers just because all the activity can be overwhelming sometimes. So I get it.
Yeah, that's understandable. I know that's why some individuals who have been on forums in the past don't necessarily like Discord because, yeah, there's just a lot going on. And it can be hard to keep up in big groups with a lot of fast paced conversations or topics that are constantly switching to something else. Forums were great, really. I loved them.
Yeah. Um, I do remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I threw up a question in here regarding this discussion. How has the shift from forums to instant messaging apps like Discord impacted the depth of online discussions and community engagement? Because right now we are recording a podcast within Discord. I can't remember this ever being an option in a forum. So this is already a positive thing that Discord or newer apps or programs can offer for the community, but it's mainly the depth of online discussion that I think has changed a lot. How do you feel about that?
It definitely has changed a lot in my viewpoint. There's a lot of pressure sometimes in Discord servers to type messages quickly. If you spend time writing up a long 30-minute response to something, it's going to be seen as strange, I guess. While as with forums, you could take all the time you need. There's no rush. There's no pressure. And if you want to come back to the response that you're typing, you can do so. Though with Discord servers, again, there's kind of that social pressure to be quick with typing or follow with every discussion and sometimes not return to certain discussions. I never understood why people were bothered by returning to conversations later, though that seems to be some kind of weird etiquette on Discord that I've seen.
Yeah, I've also found that like I've never really been on otherkin forums in a meaningful way, but I have found that like in general with like internet and chat stuff, I have found that a lot of people like this is like more about like media and like content, but it also I feel like it also applies to like community discussions because there media literacy has been dying because I feel people are more about having quick instant discussions and not really talking about like the depth and meaning of stuff, and it's like this is more apparent in fandom spaces than other kind spaces from what I've seen, but like it's still noteworthy that that is very much a thing. Like something I've noticed is that a lot of younger alter humans are would rather like get quick answers rather than do in-depth research into into their identity and stuff, and that can cause a lot of like confusion and misinformation, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Media literacy is definitely dying, sadly.
So
What it also does is that you no longer have like a knowledge base or an FAQ to rely on. I mean, you can pin messages within Discord, but being able to scroll back through a channel, that's basically impossible to begin with, because so much gets thrown in there. So even when there are good messages or well thought out responses to certain questions within Discord, it's really hard to keep track of those.
yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
You can also search keywords, but also sometimes what the exact thing you're looking for may be hard to find because there's like a different word used or different phrasing, and it can really just be a hassle to try and find what you're specifically looking for.
Yeah, that as well. And pinning all discussions doesn't necessarily work on Discord because each channel only has, I believe, a maximum of 50 pins. So
Yep.
if you want to pin any other important discussions after 50 pins, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And throw on top of that also the limit of words or characters for non-Nitro users.
Yeah, that too.
That didn't
Yeah.
exist in forums, as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the forums I've been on, it's the word limit was never an issue.
No, exactly. Actually, I realize I haven't actually let people know my history of using forums or anything else within the otherkind community. I was mainly active on otherkind.net, which had a forum but wasn't that active, I remember. And besides that, I was mainly active on DeviantArt, and we had a few local Dutch, Belgium forums we used to communicate with each other. But even back then, we already were on MSN Messenger with each other, or I believe Skype was also getting introduced back then. So I was right on the cusp of stuff changing around. But forums have their charm.
Yeah, definitely. When I first entered the community, that was my kind of experience. I was right on the edge of when online community interactions shifted from forums and old sites to newer sites. My first introduction to the otherkind community was on DeviantArt around the end of 2011. Mainly, I just hung around DeviantArt art groups and constantly searched the otherkind tag and the ultrahuman tag on DeviantArt. I know DeviantArt is a large major site, though. I feel that DeviantArt, in those days, the otherkin on there, they shared a lot of deep information about themselves. I feel that DeviantArt, I don't know if I phrase that right, though, a lot of interesting personal information about their kin types, their experiences with being non-human. Kind of like in the way that forums do, though, except with DeviantArt, you're opening yourself up to a lot of anti-kin and sadly harassment. Usually every popular otherkin post on DeviantArt gets some kind of negative reaction, sadly. Though what I do like about the community there is that they're not afraid to share their experiences with non-humanity or alter humanity. They're just like, yeah, this is my experience. I'll share it with the ones that do understand. Though if you don't understand, fuck you.
Respectable. I was never a DeviantArt user. I was more of like someone who just occasionally went on there to look at cool art. So I don't really have anything to add on to that, but I do remember when DeviantArt didn't. I don't know if I think, doesn't DeviantArt require you to like have an account to view posts or something like that?
It only requires you to have an account to view not safe for work posts, so you have to be
Oh,
verified 18 or over to view those posts. Otherwise, you can view whatever you want on DeviantArt without an account.
okay. Sorry, I have not touched DeviantArt in several years, so that's just what I've heard from others. Yeah. So, but like, yeah, sites like that where you can have discussions are very important, I would say, because again, there's not so much pressure to make things short and simple. Like, I would say, if I may go on a tangent, is that okay?
Of course, go for it.
Okay, so I would say I'm more of like I more use TikTok and Discord, and on TikTok and Discord, I mostly on TikTok, it's very difficult to have in-depth posts that get a lot of engagement because most people just want quick videos or like quick slideshows that they can look at, that they can process easily and then like and move on. And like my more in-depth posts on there are not very popular, while my shorter videos are definitely way more popular. And it's like, and I feel like the short videos don't really show what we are, because on TikTok, there again, with the whole posting stuff about otherkind on a public platform, there are a lot of people who are not educated on otherkind, and a lot of people who are to put it quite simply, unkind about otherkind. And by posting on there, you open yourself up to hatred and harassment, which is indeed tiring. But
Yeah.
though I do feel like posting on a platform like TikTok is fun because because it's easier to like make fun posts, and I also find it easy to like customize your experience, because your algorithm depends on you mostly and what your likes, and you can also like filter comments and words on your videos. So if someone is being rude, you can delete their comments or filter them or just straight up block them, and it works like a charm. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
so using TikTok to express your alter humanity has its merits, but also it has, its downsides, just like any other platform.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Nimbus?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't use TikTok, so I have no idea. But I was wondering, are you not afraid that by blocking people, or at least the rude ones, and the fact that TikTok is very short form content, that it limits the use of deeper discussions between each other?
Oh, no, I don't. Okay, I don't block people who are just like misinformed. I block people who like give me death threats and stuff. So
yeah, no, that's fair.
yeah. So if someone wants to have like an in-depth long discussion and is like genuinely curious and wants to learn, I'm not gonna block them, even if they're a little rude. And they still want to learn, and I want to help people learn and educate them. So I would not block someone for just being curious.
Yeah, that's definitely a good goal to have.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And my other question was, are you afraid that because TikTok is such a short form content app, that it will limit the depth of being able to dive into a discussion?
Yes, it's
because can you reply? Because once again, I don't know anything about TikTok. So excuse the extreme boomer view of this app.
You're good. Don't
but
worry.
can you reply in another video, or
Yes.
is there a chat that allows you to respond in longer messages?
Okay, so you can do video responses to specific comments, which really helps, I would say. And you can also private message people on there, though usually it depends on your settings, because most people have settings where they don't allow people they're not following back to message them. But it just depends on your settings and preferences, I suppose. But yeah.
All right. And what do you think is the big difference between apps like TikTok and, I don't know, Discord even? Because I feel like there's a huge difference.
Oh, certainly. With TikTok is very, it's heavy. There's a lot of censorship on TikTok where you have to like replace certain words to like in order to get your videos on the For You page. Like, any mentions of like, say, death, or I've even seen swear words that get people like, the term for someone's videos not showing up on anyone's For You page would be called being shadow banned. So it's like just not putting your content out because they think it's not suitable for the audience. But yeah, TikTok certainly has quite a few issues, but also I feel like it's important because on TikTok there is a growing community of young alter humans, and I feel like it's important for older, more educated folks to be on there to help like mitigate all the misinformation put on TikTok, and to also help like just support the younger folks on there who need the support, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Indeed. Thank you.
No problem.
On the topic
Sorry.
of, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sorry, I know we didn't mention TikTok, but I feel like it was worth, I know the topic does not include TikTok, but I feel like it was worth mentioning one of the other more popular modern forms of communication in social media.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. There's a large alter human community on TikTok, so it's definitely worth discussing here, you know. On the topic of anonymity, actually, and how people behave on the internet, the second question we have in the script is, in what ways do forums offer a different sense of anonymity compared to instant messaging apps? And how does this affect the dynamics of online interactions? Well, anonymity on the internet, it can be a good thing and a bad thing, though sadly a lot of people use the anonymity of the internet to be rude, confrontational, or just being a generally awful person, though it does have advantages of allowing others to share more detailed things about themselves without fear of it being traced back to them by people who know them IRL. So anonymity of the internet, it's definitely changed the pace of, it's definitely shifted conversation, because if you're generally anonymous on the internet, a lot of people will be emboldened to say certain things. It's why anti-kin are so emboldened, internet bullies, generally judgmental people, because there's no consequences for their actions or whatever they say. And it's definitely shifted the dynamics of online discussion. Even people in the otherkind community today, on Discord, on forums, on social media, not all of them, obviously, though some, I won't name names, obviously, though some individuals feel empowered by their anonymity, their status in the community, or whatever else, because they won't face any consequences for their actions. So anonymity, it's a good thing, though in my opinion, it's had more of a negative effect on conversations, if anything, because again, no consequences, people feel emboldened to say whatever they want, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the thing is, what I was thinking of with this question is the fact that in forums, what I can remember is that that's way more anonymous than Discord. At least it
Yeah.
feels no, not that. I don't mean that you interpret the question wrong. It just means that the way I thought about it myself is I feel like Discord is way more personal because you are joining a server with your account, which feels different than making an account and sending a message on a website or a forum in that case.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like the anonymity makes it so that forums, I believe, were way more prone to people just calling out whatever they saw or whatever they thought, while Discord servers might have a bit more of a barrier for that.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that, again, this is from my very little forum experience, but I've seen that another thing, people tend to, I haven't seen a lot of, because there's like literal anonymity.
It's a hard
That
word to
word.
say.
Yes, that word. But I've seen there's like a sense where I don't see on Discord, it's very common for people to post pictures of themselves in certain spaces. And I haven't seen a lot of that on forums as well. So like on Discord, it's more like Discord is a little more personal than forums, I would say, because it just feels like it feels more casual, I think.
Yeah. Usually on forums, there's usually specific threads for discussing specific topics that the forum or site discusses. There's not a lot of personal threads where you share selfies or engage in casual conversation. Forums are usually more of an on-topic thing, unless there's like an extra space, a sub-forum in the forum to discuss personal things, though Discord service is definitely more personal because I forgot what I was going to say, though, yeah.
Yeah, Seraphis raises a good thing, actually. A good point. That was the word I was looking for. Forums also sometimes limit how you can customize yourself. It would depend on the implementation, which is true. I mean, the only way you can customize yourself on forums is basically by writing your intro as grand or as small as you want it, or be as detailed as you can be. But besides that, yeah, you could host images on certain websites and pray they stay online, because that would often happen as well, that sometimes websites would just go offline and take all your uploaded images with them. So Discord definitely feels like a way better program or messaging app to show who you are and develop yourself in that as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely sad that a lot of old date community forums have gone offline. Even the ones that are archived on sites like archival.com and the Wayback Machine, a lot of information has been lost. In my Alterhuman and Otherkind community sites dictionary, a lot of the sites I've had to dig out from the Wayback Machine, and even then the Wayback Machine doesn't recover everything on there, so it's sad. And recently, I call it the end of an era, though, alt fan dragons and alt horror werewolves were sadly permanently archived. I hope they aren't going to be taken down, though usually with large old date community sites, archival is just the first step to deletion. I believe alt fan dragons was created either 1994 or 1993. I know alt horror werewolves was created 1993 or 1992, whatever. I forget the exact years. Sometime in the early 1990s. Alt horror werewolves was considered the first website dedicated to discussing, like therianthropy and non-humanity. Alt Fan Dragons was a site for Dragonkin, and I believe Dragon role players too, just general fans of dragons. So yeah, those sites have been permanently archived as of February 2024. I really hope the sites aren't going to be taken down, though. That's how a lot of it starts. First, the site's archived, then it's taken down for good.
Yeah, I very much understand the fear of the website being taken down. As I mentioned, when I was a child, I used the, or rather, when we were young, we used the Scholastic forums, and those have since been taken down, I believe, which makes me sad, but also I'm kind of happy because I probably should not have been on the internet when I was that young, and I said some stupid stuff. So,
I think
uh,
everyone, when they're young, says things that they later regret. So
yeah.
you're not alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I was like a bad person. I just remember I was just, general being a child and being a little weird,
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, I've deleted my DeviantArt at some point, which was partly due to the amount of cringe I posted back then while awakening and interacting with different otherkin. So, yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, we made a community account a long time ago. I don't know if we ever ended up actually posting on that forum, but back when it was like still a thing, we did have an account. So again, I have no memory of actually using it, but an account was made. So,
Yeah, that's fair. My first forum account, I believe, was on draconic.com.
Nice.
That site's still up, luckily, though, as far as I know, it's not entirely active.
Fair.
E-
Oh, what I would like to say, could I add what I think is maybe like the perfect medium for kin discussion?
Yeah, go for it.
Now, most of us are already aware of this, but I think Tumblr is a great platform for talking about alter humanity stuff because it's such a flexible platform, and even if it's a little wonky and kind of a hell site, it still there's a lot you can have those long in-depth discussions, but you can also have those instantaneous discussions if and you can post images, you can express yourself really well, you can block blogs and tags, you can customize your experience. I just think that Tumblr is like one of the best places to be if you're alter human.
Oh, yeah, and the community there is still pretty active and large. Sometimes I'm active there myself.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully, at least that community isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. There are also a lot of really good alter human resources on there, be it for like education or just for like stuff to help with like dysphoria and stuff. So it's just there are a lot of like tips and tricks on alter humanity in there, and also a lot of educational things, and it's really just a very welcoming community from what I've seen.
Yeah,
I actually initially joined Tumblr to join the alter human community, so yeah.
that's fair. There's definitely a lot of good sides to the Tumblr alter human community, but there's also a lot of bad sides.
Oh,
I won't get it.
100%.
I won't get into that though.
Yeah. As mentioned earlier, there are like rude people, anti-kin, weird people. It's just, yeah. But
Oh yeah,
that's bound to happen with any space on the internet, I'd say. With Tumblr, I think it's better because most people like in their bio or like their intro post, they state their like beliefs and stuff. So if there's someone there who like is I'm not gonna say exactly what I'm thinking, but if there's someone there who is weird, they'll probably say that. So you can like see that and block them pretty fast.
yeah, that's fair. Curating your own space.
The question I want to propose right now is, how has the rise of instant messaging apps like Discord, and I would guess TikTok and the like also fits in with that, affected the formation and sustainability of online communities in comparison to traditional forums or websites even? Because I feel like the groups or the community as a whole has shattered more or less, to my feeling, because you used to have just a few forums where people would go to, and nowadays, even on Discord itself, you have like hundreds of otherkin or Terran servers for just about every niche part of the community. And I feel like that has really created a rift between different groups, so to say, almost. So that's, in one way, it's good because people can, non-people actually, can, indulge in their own niche thing and enjoy themselves in that. But on the other hand, I feel like the positive part was that everything was available at one spot.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. What was I going to say? I feel like Discord servers they have different environments than forums because there's a lot more conversation going on in a lot of Discord servers rather than forums. Forums, people usually just stay really on topic. Though with Discord servers, conversations could change in an instant. People can generally share whatever they want in the general channels, so I think it's more easy for a Discord server's environment to become more volatile and toxic rather than a forum, mainly because of how many different conversations can happen in a Discord server at any given time. And Discord servers usually take a lot more time to moderate than a forum. So sometimes moderation negligence can lead to a community becoming toxic. And if a community becomes toxic, then it'll distance itself from the other communities, and then the big rifts in communities start.
Oh yeah, definitely. The downside is, of course, with Discord is that because people try to respond as quickly as possible, it also makes them often not think that much about their response or think about what words to use. And especially in a community as the otherkin community, thinking about your words is pretty important.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seraphis makes a very good point. It is hard to find Discord servers compared to forums. And I've found that Discord is good for finding stuff, but also not every server uses Discord to advertise. So it's really just, it's hard to find stuff that fits exactly what you need sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. In Discord, when you advertise a server on Discord, it can open up the server to a raid or having what's the word? Not very great people joining the server to either troll or harass. So I never put any of my servers on Discord because of that reason.
Fair. Yeah, we when we make servers, when we make public servers, there's always a verification process just to prevent that sort of stuff. So
yeah, even because of course that throws up a barrier because you want to protect the people inside the community or within the server you are in. But the other hand is the other thing is, of course, that with forums you could probably pretty much just sign up and jump in. But of course that would invite a lot of trolls and people you didn't really want there. The thing is, of course, that with like the Celestial Spire, you have to be known or you have to know about the server to find it. For me, when I came back into the community and I didn't really know where to look because, of course, all the forums has disappeared because I joined like halfway 22. I came back, so yeah, almost 2 years ago. And the first thing that I thought of was otherkind.net, because that was my main base back then, in the zeros. And then I found out through their website that they have a Discord server. And it was only through, I believe, someone posting the summit in there that I found out about the Celestial Spire. And ever since then, I've been in here and been enjoying it very much. So it really throws up some boundaries to get to a point where you might feel more at home or feel like you belong, in comparison to a forum where you could just jump in or try it out or read along even before making an account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Lurking on Discord can be a little awkward because it's like, I don't know, there's like there's a bit of stigma to being a lurker on Discord, while I feel like being a lurker on a forum can be more, what's the word? Acceptable, you know?
Yeah, of course, because you can just open the website and scroll along. While with Discord, you actually, like in here, in this server, you first have to make an account, or at least you have to make an introduction and, introduce yourself. So you're already outing yourself, so to say, as to who you are and what you want to do in here. And, lurkers usually don't want to do that because they, just want to look and read along and don't specifically want to tell their personal story. And Surface says, personally, I'm fine with that, which is more than okay, of course. But I can see some people not liking it.
Or there might be a Wi-Fi issue.
Did I cut away?
Yeah, you did.
for like a couple seconds.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Oh, well.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yay, Discord. See, you don't have that problem with forums because it's just text.
True. True.
Yeah. On another question, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the structured organization of forums versus the more fluid and spontaneous nature of conversations on instant messaging apps? Like I said, with forums, conversations and discussions are more structured. You can type out as many responses as long as a response as you want. Though with Discord servers, it's definitely good if you want to talk to others at any given moment or just start random conversations. Though at the same time, topics can shift very quickly. A lot of times there's a certain stigma around going back to certain old discussions. And yeah, basically that's what it is.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. I just realized, based on like what you guys have been saying about forums also seem to be a little more like neurodivergent friendly based on like the way some of our brains work. So
yeah, that's fair.
It seems, because like, for instance, I'm autistic, so I'm autistic, and the way it works for me is I like to have a more structured, more organized routine and way of communicating. So I like a lot of organization and structure. So forums do seem like something good, but also there can be structure and organization on apps like Discord, because with all the channels and categories and stuff, I feel like there's a lot of different places where you can express what you need to express, you know?
Oh yeah, of course. I definitely enjoy the organization of forums.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy having in-depth, deep conversations and sharing things about myself. Though for some reason, for my being on Discord, it's difficult to do that. Mainly because I feel self-conscious about typing out something for too long. And I was like, oh, they're waiting on a response from my being. I need to type this up super quickly. Whereas on forums, I have all the time I need.
That's true.
And I can just return to something if I don't have the time to finish it or the energy to finish the response I'm making.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah. I don't really have that problem too much because I am a very fast typer and reader. So, but I very much understand those people or individuals who are not the same. So what I mean is like the experience will vary from individual to individual, and I think it's really just up to it depends on the individual's preference on whether they prefer messaging apps or forums, you know?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Oh, here's a good one. How does the loss of historical records of old day community forums impact the preservation of online cultural heritage, and what measures can be taken to address this issue in the future?
Oh, it's like the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
If
actually,
it,
sorry.
I was going to say if the Library of Alexandria was full of human history.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to apparently, can I go on a very quick little tangent about the library?
Of course, go for it.
I just wanted to say, I've learned that apparently, several of the texts in the library were already, like, copied to, like, other mediums and books so that they can, like, be preserved. So apparently we didn't lose that much when the library burned, but it's still a good metaphor, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually thought everything from the Library of Alexandria was lost.
I could be wrong. I don't remember where I heard that, but I'd heard it somewhere, and take what I'm saying with like a pile of salt because I could be remembering wrong.
No worries, I understand. I guess that can be related to the Alter Human community in a way. The
Yeah.
original sites of a lot of old day community sites are down or deleted, though a lot of them have also been archived on like the Wayback Machine and archive.com, luckily.
Yeah.
Though sadly some have been lost to time, and maybe some of them maybe some of the material on those permanently disappeared sites can be I guess it only exists in the memories of the individuals who were active on those sites at the time.
Yeah, it's sad to know that knowledge has been lost to time.
Yeah, it's definitely very sad.
Yeah. It does mean that we can share new knowledge and make new memories though, so that is a plus side to that.
Oh yeah, of course. I was gonna say I was so sad when alt fan dragons and alt horror werewolves was permanently archived. I know the
Very
sites are
under
down, though at the same time a lot of it's like those were the very beginnings of the ultra human community on online, and now it's like they're slowly dying, sadly.
Yeah, that's very understandable. Um, and there's also like a thing where like if those sites get lost to time, there will be not much evidence of us being like alter humans as a whole having existed for longer than others may think, and it's like you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do.
There's not a lot of like professional information about the alter human community and how long it's existed, and the forums are kind of proof of how long we've been around.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, because we're already a pretty hidden community.
Yeah.
Even though in the recent years we're more and more going out. So it's definitely important to, respect and save our history, even on the internet.
Yeah, I definitely think having a physical archive of certain sites and resources, if that makes sense, would be beneficial because if any of those sites go down, we'll always have the physical copy. Though I don't know if anyone would ever want to do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you would be surprised at what people are willing to do to like preserve information. Have you heard of like I forgot what it's called, but there's this massive Minecraft library where they just archive every like book in existence, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
So I could be wrong about every book, but like it's a huge Minecraft library that like um it doesn't censor stuff. It's just you, books, you know?
Yeah, I never knew that existed. That's really cool.
I'd have to look it up to find the name, but like if that existed for like forums and stuff, that would be really cool.
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
like a gamified archive, which is pretty telling of the time we live in, that we think that's a good way to do it. Because what if the way to play that game or open that game becomes inaccessible? Then what?
Physical archive.
Yeah, physical archives are the best in the end,
Right.
or at least
Yeah.
save it on, on a physical thing. But it would be pretty hard to get a physical version of a website. I mean, that would basically mean you have to write everything over or print it out and store it
Yeah.
as paper.
Yeah, or maybe store everything on a hard drive.
Yeah. Well, you have certain hard drives or certain ways to store things for a long time. Tape is still being used to store stuff for like 50 years and up. So
Ooh.
we could store the internet on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Interesting.
This was a really productive conversation, though. I'm happy that we were able to spark some good conversation points and answer some interesting questions.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to have a productive episode.
Oh yeah, of course. So to read the outro that's on my script, thank you all for joining us today and contributing these interesting questions. This essentially concludes this episode of Close Encounters of the Dragonkind. We hope to see you next time in the next episode. We're either thinking of either the philosophy of draconity, something about breath weapons and how not all dragons have them. That's one of the topics
I feel
we wanna
called
have.
out. I'm pretty boring as a dragon. Or I was pretty boring as a dragon.
That's fair. I'm just a basic fire breather, so
Wow, show off.
I mean, true dragons are very perfect, but I mean, I feel like not having a breath weapon is also very interesting.
No, we can talk about this right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Next episode, everybody.
Yep, next episode. Sorry.
Yee. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Mlimbai.